Hmm. Wow. And of course, Andy Davis gonna turn the shot meter off. I don't normally shoot a shot meter anyway. So, alright, y'all, what's going on? So, you see the title, coronavirus. Now, my thing is with coronavirus, a lot of people asking what I think about certain events. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's nothing that I feel like people could have prepared for. In all honesty, in terms of like dealing with it, a lot of people say shutting off borders, but then again, geography is definitely a great subject to have taken in college, stuff like that. Geography, topography, all that type of stuff is very important. So, that being said, like a lot of people don't know that Turkey is in two continents. It falls in between Europe and Asia, but more importantly, the place where it kind of crosses Istanbul, Turkey. So, and Turkey has, I think, one of the highest rates of coronavirus. So, we'll do. But I feel like there's a whole lot of misinformation, and then I know a whole lot of people are losing their shirts and stuff like that behind the coronavirus. Now, I said it myself that I think everything is going to be shut down into September. I told my parents, the parents was like, why do I think it's going to be shut down to September? August seems too soon. August seems too soon. I'm trying to slow the curve, but nothing's going to be open on April 30th. I don't think so. I don't think it's possible for certain stuff to happen in between a certain time frame, unrealistic time frame. Like people talk about because it's hot, stuff like that. The bacteria and stuff supposed to slow down. Actually, when it gets hot, bacteria and stuff multiply rapidly. But that's another story for another day. And then a whole lot of people keep on talking about this coronavirus and 5G, the connection. There's no such thing as coronavirus and 5G. That just sounds retarded. I hate to say it like that, but that just sounds retarded. Coronavirus and 5G. And like there's celebrities and certain stuff are following along with that. Like some people look up to celebrities and certain stuff like that, which I think that's what you like doing. It's cool, but sometimes you have to take what people say at face value and don't proceed to like really listen to them in a sense. We think that sometimes these people have it going on. Not saying that they don't, but like there's a difference. You may be talented at what you do, but like for instance, Carrie Hilson, she's a singer, hasn't made anything in like what, maybe the last decade or something like that. She's been in a few movies here or there, but I don't know. People should just sit out. There's a lot of stuff's not the expertise. But that's another story for another day. But I know a whole lot of people are losing their shirts, and do I think it's a perfect time to make money? It depends. I'm not thinking about money. Like I'm thinking about like definitely problems, but a lot of chain of command and that type of stuff. A lot of calls are not being made in terms to like reduce like a curve. The law of supply and demand basically doesn't exist anymore. The needs, like what you call it, the needs and wants, it's almost unparalleled in my opinion. Cause I'm a business major and yeah, I do stuff with computers and stuff like that. So it's another story. And my whole thoughts on this is like A lot of people talking about flatten the curve and certain stuff like that. Sure, we have to flatten the curve, but I don't know. A lot of stuff's unexpected. Anthony Davis shouldn't have been in the key, but do I think that the coronavirus is serious? Yeah, I think it's serious. But another thing that I've been seeing that's like at least ridiculous in my opinion is that the fact that when you go out to stores, grocery stores and stuff, like people not honoring social distancing. And I think a lot of the stuff that people have done in terms of like businesses, like they're talking about $2 an hour, but a whole lot of these people are not been able to, like the employees, a lot of this stuff, like the cleanliness of these machines and stuff like that that people use, like for instance, when you put your debit card or your credit card inside the machine, that can also contain the coronavirus because people were putting their fingers that could have been coughing and certain stuff like that, and that's nasty. And do I think businesses and the corporations will be the same? Absolutely not. I know a whole lot of businesses and certain stuff like that don't want people to work from home and layoffs and stuff like that. I think that's bad. That's an aspect we have to look at. But at the same time, public health crisis. I know my school, they tried to do a public health campaign, and then that's before everything got shut down. Talking about coronavirus having people and stuff, and then like I would say about 3 weeks to 4 weeks ago, we had like the CIA come to our school, talk to us about the careers and certain stuff like that. So it's cool. That's going in. I'm gonna grind this build a little bit. Probably get off soon. So a lot of people want to know my thing about like just going to school, certain stuff like that. I'm about to be a senior, so after this semester, and do I think school is hard? It depends on what we're talking about. Like school in itself, I feel like it's unparalleled. Like for instance, a whole lot of people would say that the school of engineering and school of business is like, or put it in biology and stuff is, easy. It's not easy. I'm not a biology major, but I'm taking biology right now. And I feel like the most difficult thing that you can do, especially in those type of, classes and certain stuff, a lot of them exams are way heavy. I'm talking about 60%. I've done great on all my exams, like 92s, 80s, certain stuff, 80s would be. So I'm doing pretty good in that. So we did like stuff. I know I had lab and certain stuff. Had to do that stuff. We talked about the coronavirus, and then before you know it, we're out, staying at home. I've been staying at home. I don't even get out the house that much, but that's another story for another day. But what are my thoughts on the coronavirus? I think that, in all honesty, the coronavirus is something that people could see, but not too many news and certain stuff. It's like we're covering it in a sense or likeness or break. And the thing about, I think the way countries are handling the coronavirus is closing borders, sure. But I think one of my biggest issues and complaints is that a whole lot of people are being racist to Asian people, which is, I feel like, a problem in itself. Why the coronavirus started in like China, but stuff like that, I feel like it's an approach that people could take. Now I would say people eating exotic animals, that's nasty and disgusting in itself. There's no reason for people to be eating these animals, but that's not, I'm not going to be what you call ethnocentric and stuff like that. Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like, in a philosophical standpoint, it's just that a lot of stuff is just testing, really, of a lot of stuff. And in a lot of ways, I feel like a lot of stuff, if you don't check certain stuff, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then that's where a lot of underlying issues come from. It's like if you're not doing anything actively, you're just kind of, letting things get out of control. So that's my whole thought. Like, for instance, people doing MLM stuff, or people losing $200,000 in 401ks and certain stuff like that. That type of stuff is happening now, and people hoping the stuff will rebound. I say it won't rebound. A lot of people saying the stock market. I don't have faith and trust in the stock market at all. I think people are going to get very good deals out of this. Maybe through some type of other type of investments that they're doing. Like, I know a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there's people. I don't think that the medical industry is really profiting off of this, because the medical industry after this will not be the same. The United States is probably like one of the last places in like beds. Like, we have like 13 beds for 1,000 people. So hospital beds and certain stuff, we don't have too many of those. South Korea is actually second in hospital beds. A lot of people are seeing certain stuff level off, but at the same time, I don't think stuff will ever level out. I feel like a lot of stuff will come in phases, but I feel like a lot of stuff come out to the masses, but then it'll eventually not level out, but you're going to see a whole lot of stuff manifest itself in public health crisis, I guess. Now, I don't really talk politics on this. I'm not really into politics. Well, I am and I'm not, but I don't talk about issues that people tend to disagree on, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's your personal thing. A lot of stuff's just too political. And I feel like a lot of stuff is just like, another thing I also think that people should stop doing is chain messaging. That's another thing, and I feel like fear mongering is at an all-time high. So even like people talking about meats contaminated or cross contamination, you have to wash your meats too, people. That's another thing. Like, I know when people go fish and certain stuff like that, they have like bacteria and certain stuff in that. Like, fish can have uric acid, and if you're not careful, somebody with like gout or something like that, it's going to mess them up completely. So, in my honest opinion, though, I think the coronavirus is serious, absolutely. Not even with the shadow of a doubt. But people talking about the coronavirus stimulus check, sure. College students don't get it because they're dependent. But people keep on talking about the coronavirus like a million. I know a whole lot of businesses and certain stuff like that. People having to shut down and close down because they lost income. But a lot of people don't have emergency savings funds and certain stuff like that. And some of these people work jobs, they don't have benefits and certain stuff like that, and they cannot afford to miss a day. Like, God forbid something happens to their children or something like that. They don't have any time, and then some of these people are forced to work. There's not really any safety precautions that I think that a lot of people are taking, especially businesses. Like, for instance, Walmart, no. Walmart, absolutely no. Walmart's kind of like one of the worst places to go. People say that Target is bougie. I don't feel like Target is really bougie, and people talk about Target is more expensive. Not that by that much, and like I feel like Walmart, in a sense, Walmart is very specialized in a few things, and with those few things that I really just don't like, Walmart is kind of packed. It's not uniform. It's not well maintained. You find stuff all thrown all over everywhere, you know, especially going to some of these stores. But that's besides the point. The one thing I can say Target honestly does is they clean off their actual stuff that they have. Like for instance, um, they clean off the POS systems, the touchpads and stuff like that. They're actually sanitizing that after everybody uses it, after every use. So I'm a fan of that. So, um, another thing that is kind of shocking is that people like, I guess the prediction trying to slow the curve. To me, slowing the curve is great, but a lot of people keep on trying to be skeptical of the medical system, which I think that the chain and supply and demand and certain stuff like that, that stuff wasn't actively thought of and actually prepped for. So, in a sense, it's manifests itself in, you know, outbreak, low hospital beds. I would say, you know, a lot of people talking about free healthcare. You're talking about, I say, probably one of the most broken healthcares in the world. Um, People talk about Canada having free healthcare. Well, yeah, but there's a downside to that. In order for people to go to specialties and certain stuff like that, you know, like Canada, you know, someone needs a life-saving, you know, heart transplant, they can't get it within a time frame. They may die. It's a hard reality, but I guess people just don't really think about I say the two lesser goods in extents that I feel like balance or certain stuff is going to be unbalanced. Um, a lot of people keep on watching like what's the movie Contagion and certain stuff like that. I just think that, for instance, businesses and people, there's nothing we could have done. Um, I just don't think there's anything people could have done. Precautionary measures, sure. I mean, washing hands is one thing. I mean, I wash my hands constantly. Before, after. Use hand sanitizer. Always had hand sanitizer. Be careful touching surfaces and certain stuff like that. Um, you know, just a whole lot of other stuff just really comes into play. You can never really pinpoint something to one thing, but one thing that you can do is research and try to do that. But the one thing I don't like is turning on the news every day and it's just like, I would say it's just a whole lot of drama. Here's our offer. Okay, counter offer. I don't buy shoes, so I'm gonna try to stack this up a little bit. Uh, you know, a whole lot of people are talking about working and getting a job and certain stuff like that. Me, a whole lot of stuff's just not serious. It's just not. I know a whole lot of people going broke and they're waiting for stimulus check, but I think it's a done deal. Like, in a sense, I feel like you can, the $1,200 and stuff like that. We talk about corporate bailouts. I mean, the government is, I guess, unprepared. That's the only thing I can say is they're unprepared. And I guess it's a tough time, man. I know a whole lot of things. People are limited in their coming and going, and then essential businesses and certain stuff like that. I never understood why businesses and certain stuff were open. Like, for instance, nail salons. I'm glad I got my hair cut before everything got shut down. But by the time I guess everything's said and done, I'm gonna have like a full beard for sure. I'm gonna have a full beard. Kids can't go to school, and that's interesting. In my opinion, I go to school online. I was actually going to school until like spring break, so everything got shut down. And the one thing that I never really understood in full capacity is why people were going down to beaches and certain stuff like that. Miami, stuff like that. I know when people are like in college and certain stuff, it's important for them to go out in spring break. But that's a great way for people to come back with STDs and more importantly, coronavirus. Like being mixed with people, and then a lot of stuff's gonna be affected too. Population dense areas too. A lot of people keep on talking about how was China able to slow down the coronavirus. Well, the real reason why China was able to slow down coronavirus is because I would say they took extreme measures and certain stuff like that. And besides, people in the United States are spread out. So, for instance, in China, an apartment may contain 1,000 people, or a building or complex may contain 1,000 people. And they say shut down, China is going to have those people shut down. And even with the measures that were taken, people were getting checked with a thermometer. They was reading people's vitals and certain stuff like that in order to go out and get food, go to the grocery store and certain stuff like that. In the United States, that's not happening. And I feel like most of the cases and stuff like that, some people appear asymptomatic and certain people don't. It's just a difficult time, I guess, in a lot of sense. I guess, like, a lot of people are having boredom, certain stuff like that, but people complain about not being able to make a dollar. I feel like if you're not being able to make a dollar, then it'll be fine. I know people saying they have bills and certain stuff to pay for. They need money, certain stuff to pay the bills. Rent is still due. Landlords and certain stuff like that are trying to evict people. Mortgages and stuff have to be paid. Now, the one thing I will say about mortgages, since I'm a finance type person, is a lot of people are going to have a whole lot more chances to actually do stuff. Like, for instance, if someone has a 30-year mortgage and certain stuff like that, after the new finance rates and certain stuff, I feel like they'll be able to go ahead and basically, after this whole thing is over, this ordeal is over, people will be able to, how can I say, they'll be able to refinance. And the thing, I guess, another aspect of it, if your credits and stuff is good, you know, you pay your bills and stuff on time, you should be able to probably refinance it to 15%. Not 15%, 15 years. There's certain stuff like that, mortgages and stuff. I know a whole lot of people talk about, you know, stuff skyrocketed. That thing glitched out. I'm glad I didn't sit up here and try to stand there and wait all that time. And though I think balloon loans and certain stuff affected people, bottom line, sure, absolutely. But I feel like money and I guess values and certain stuff, in a sense, you can't live off money. Like, you can't live off your job. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. You can't, like, I know a whole lot of people are waiting on certain sorts of government to do something, but I mean, and I think a survey said that most Americans don't even have emergency funds, which in principle in themselves is bad, but I feel like a whole lot of people don't adequately manage their finances too. That's another aspect. Living paycheck to paycheck. That's not good. But at the end of the day, you kind of take self-responsibility. Like, especially anybody, including me. You know, I feel like a lot of stuff people don't think about the opportunity cost for a lot of stuff. People saying that, oh, you don't need a degree to, you know, do this job, or they say that a college degree is just a piece of paper, and you know, you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to get a chance to get a job. But if people are talking practically like that, talking about like coding and stuff like that on a computer, nobody's really going to take a chance on somebody who's really doing that. It's true, you can maybe be able to, you know, uh, try to work your way and network with people. But a lot of the times, a lot of jobs require you to go to a 4-year university and stuff like that, have a bachelor's and certain stuff like that. Because you'll never be in a position of management or something like that where, you know, you're able to not propel, but, you know, actively move up in a career field. And that's very few and far between, but I've seen people with, you know, or I know of people with like 2-year degrees and certain stuff like that, GED, you're doing fine in that aspect, but opportunity cost. And I know a lot of stuff that people do sometimes with these jobs and certain stuff like that, there's corporate burnout. And then there could be professionals in the career field and certain stuff like that where, not saying their skill set has necessarily dried out, but in corporate America and certain stuff like that, it's a time frame. So if you're not hitting certain stuff or certain goals within the time frame, you don't have to really work for anybody. You don't. But a lot of people don't have that capital. Well, I said capital. Cause certain stuff, there's not that much equity in certain stuff. Like for people, a lot of people talking about business careers and certain stuff, like being a hedge fund manager. You know, a lot of hedge fund managers and certain stuff like that, they're primarily using other people's money. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they try to help them make portfolios and certain stuff like that. I feel like a whole lot of people don't get that. It's not really an easy thing, and I know a whole lot of people try to go, especially in these little niches and certain stuff, like teach people courses and then talk about financial literacy. But if you look at the courses and certain stuff like they have or they set up, most of it is a limit package deals based off of how many people you bring, um, asking very personal information like about people's income level, certain stuff like that. To me, do I feel sorry for people who are poor? Sure, I do. But, like, for instance, I feel like there's a whole lot of stuff that people do that crosses the line, and then, my opinion, a lot of stuff is like false equivalencies. Like, for instance, people just go and, like, I don't believe pick yourself up by your own bootstrap. That's kind of stupid. But someone's talking about a two-time felon needs to have a chance at a job. Well, I feel like people do change in a sense, but once you do certain stuff, you have to live with the consequences, repercussions. I do not believe that people, can't change. Some people do change, but a lot of people are still doing that element. Like, if someone's a felon, they can't get their Series 7, and it is what it is. You cannot be a felon and be a stockbroker. That's just not going to happen. And the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. So, I feel like that's what you call Brandon Ingram shot, 38. So that's what I'm using on my stretch. I didn't think that was going in, so I'll probably get a few batteries. I'm gonna get off soon. Also, I remember last year around this time, I was like a junior in school, and my professor had me write an age-page paper about supply and demand curves and certain stuff like that. Really everything and inflation. That was annoying because my professor wasn't that good. That's not a story for another day. But I think that I had to do stuff about the Fed, interest rates, and certain stuff like that. And after like researching, having to use all these databases and certain stuff like that, I got some information from a database. We have to use scholarly databases and certain stuff like that. I think one is called JSTOR or something like that. I use that, but me being a business major and all, I feel like there's certain stuff that hasn't really done that much by researching, because anything is unexpected. I know a whole lot of people are basically lost their jobs or they're getting laid off. A lot of companies will cease to exist because of transport, a lot of overhead costs. A lot of people are pretty much the supply chains and certain stuff is going down. But a whole lot of people talking about driving big rigs and certain stuff like that. People talk about six figures with that, but that's not exactly the case. Some people have to pay like $20,000 for a route. It's like a territory, and a lot of these people are like independent contractors, so they don't get benefits or anything. A lot of people don't think about that aspect of money, time, stuff like that. I think that a lot of stuff, in an instance, people saying that this is worse than The financial crisis, absolutely. The 2008 recession. We talking about this is depression. We have to just see. I don't want to be, fear mongering and believing that, but I just hope things goes back to normalcy. But I feel like that's going to be in September when we really see things get taken under control. So just implement it. A lot of people keep on saying N95 masks and certain stuff have gone down. I have N95 masks, I only have like two. That was before everything kind of went haywire, and that was like from 2019. I had just N95 mask. A lot of people were talking about getting meats and certain stuff like that. Stores I went to before everything kind of got shut down, people would start panicking. They'll give people one of everything. You can only buy one thing. You can buy one meat, one hand sanitizer, one soap. But they'll have certain restrictions on certain stuff so everybody could get it. I should have missed that one. I smoked that. Another thing I don't like is when people be also saying stupid stuff like coronavirus. They're talking about weed can stop coronavirus. It can't. Or trying to do business pitches. No. A lot of people will probably ask my opinion on this stuff like weed and certain stuff like that. Honestly, a majority of the people who use drugs, not saying they aren't professionals and stuff, like people in the business world who don't do drugs, but I feel like even though you may see them in a position where they're doing good, it doesn't pay to do drugs or people use or sell drugs and certain stuff like that, because you got what's coming to you. You do. I guess the business pitch is a whole lot of people are trying to promote their products and certain stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of stuff, to me, it's kind of tacky. It's really tacky and distasteful in a lot of ways, like pitching products and certain stuff like that. Like, I feel like a lot of stuff that people try to pitch, especially like MLMs, like Herbalife, little cheap jewelry that people try to sell. A lot of that stuff, you're not making any money with that. You're biting the bullet. In fact, you're biting the bullet. And the only way that you're really going to make money is getting other people under you to, You may, for instance, like with these programs about like financial literacy courses, like how to live debt free. A lot of that stuff is more practical. It's not reality. It's a lot of stuff you got to take as at face value. So. A lot of stuff's just not reality for a lot of people, so another aspect I think that businesses and certain stuff are not doing is really taking profit and loss seriously. Profit and loss is very important for like businesses. So if people kind of took it seriously in a sense, by having people check in books, certain stuff like that, accountants, CPAs, financial advisors, I think we see a whole lot of improvements. And even before all this stuff happened, I know a lot of people have a lot of overhead costs, and then, like for instance, corporations, they're having a difficult time right now. But a corporation has perpetual life, so if anything happens to a founder or something like that, basically a corporation is an artificial person. In the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the government, it's actually a person. How do I know this? Because I'm a business major and I'm actually taking that class now. We have to look at certain stuff. But a lot of stuff, like if businesses and stuff get sued for not fulfilling the contract between, their suppliers and distributors, that's one thing. And a lot of stuff that people have, it's a place they have a distribution center where they separate and all these packages and certain stuff like that. That's for sure. Packages and certain stuff are just like, I'm seeing a whole lot of issues with ventilators, hospitals not having ventilators, and they're running out of stuff. That's a bad position to be in, but in all seriousness, I feel like overproduction of stuff is, I would say, beneficial in a way, but at the same time, medical professionals are not really able to do that much in terms of limited supplies and certain stuff like that. People gonna die. There's nothing people really can do about that. I know that stuff, like, people have grandmas and certain stuff to think about. That's the one thing to think about. Do I think old people are really going to take the brunt of this? And what I mean by brunt, like finances, I would say yes and no. Social Security, old people have that, which I think is helpful, but at the same time, Social Security is going to have to wind up, I don't know, they're going to have to restructure that. What time is it? It's at 1. Where's the 1 I'm out of pocket? It is 1. Probably go to sleep in a few, but I don't know, man. I know for sure I'm bored. It's like being in the house, but I do my work. Like I prioritize my work, but I have like 4 assignments due in biology. So working on piece by piece a day. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna upload assignments. But I'm not a fan of online proponents of school, because online is really terrible, if that makes sense. It's more practical than reality. So I don't see how I'm taking a finance course online, even though the homework and stuff is online. We're using that whole system to have class, log in, upload assignments, take quizzes, take tests. My whole problem with, I guess finance and accounting is that you learn all these different ratios, formulas, and certain stuff. Quick ratio. You're doing PV, annuity problems, and all that type of stuff. That stuff is not no joke, bro. I never skip class and certain stuff like that. Give me the ball. There's just certain classes that, I don't know. To me, going to school is very vital for like success, but I feel like there's a lot of norms and certain stuff that people say. It's just not reality. Could college be free? Sure, it could be, but it's not going to. A lot of people talk about student loans and certain stuff. Student loans in itself, you have to pay that money back. A lot of people talk about forbearance and certain stuff like that, or deferment, save money, or get an extension. You have a 6-month grace period. You gotta find a job, start making minimum payments, stuff like that. Especially on top of the interest. So if you have like $100,000, student loan for just a degree that's probably gonna get you like what I would say 40 coming out of college. That's probably gonna take you about 10 to 15 years to pay that off. All things considered, you don't have a kid, you don't have certain stuff like that. But I feel like academia in itself, if we're being completely honest, there's a lot of stuff about academia that I do not like. Primarily being, I say the way things are carried out in terms of what I've seen, like especially going to school. It's like there's no sense of balance. The education system is so broke in so many ways. The worst thing I think that happens, especially in school, it really doesn't get any better in college. You might have some professors that do it in college, but you're paying money for it, is that they really don't teach. They might have a YouTube video up and a lot of classwork or something like that, or group projects. Group projects I absolutely hate. And people keep talking about you're gonna have to do group projects and work for people. I don't think I'll really work for somebody. And if I do, I'm probably gonna work a place for 2 years and probably move on. Move on. Now people keep on talking about like me being a singer and then like lining up certain stuff for jobs and all these different companies and certain stuff like that. I know a whole lot of schools and like students and people are pissed because like people pay deposits and certain stuff like that on rooms, dorms, board and meals and certain stuff like that. Not getting that money back. I hate to break it to you. A lot of people not going to see that money. And why is that? Because it's just the principle. You're not about to see the money. I don't see how I break that, but that's okay. I knew he was about to make that. He smoked that one. I can't ask out the sim. $76 overall. Interesting. I'll probably try to get a couple more badges, then I'm getting off, but I know I gotta do some work tomorrow, but really today. Businesses. I'm glad businesses and stuff are closed down and shut down, because all it takes is something to happen. And what that means by particularly, I mean, think about certain stuff like, for instance, POS systems and stuff like that. One example that I would like to use, for instance, and certain stuff like that, I know a whole lot of businesses and stuff like that, they have overhead costs and a lot of expenses and a lot of distributors and certain stuff they have to pay. Just costing a lot of things. We'll say, for instance, let's go say Dave and Buster's. That's like one of my places to go to before everything that happened, the coronavirus. You know, all it takes is for one person to get sick. And, you know, a lot of people, they be drinking their beer, they're, you know, getting their wings, getting their drink on, you know, it's whatever. All it takes is for a sick person to go and sit down, have something to eat, you know, get one of the passes with the game and food included. You know, they don't know they're sick or something like that. They're asymptomatic. Go touch one of these games, you know, go and touch these POS systems, and before you know it, people touch the surfaces, you know, they touch the face, you know, touch the eyes, rub the eyes and stuff like that. And before you know it, they don't know they got it. They go out in public, you know, they touch other surfaces, cycle continues, more people start to get it. So I feel like that's a precautionary thing. I think a whole lot of people don't think about stuff like that. But the one thing I can say is that people gonna be washing down these services and having more stuff readily available after this whole ordeal is over. But I absolutely do not think that this is like April 30th. That's a little bit too quick to say something. 10,000 people in the United States alone died from the coronavirus. Yeah. That's something that's kind of problematic, but give or take, precautionary measures won't take in. And then besides, logistically, that's another thing people won't think about before. Is you know, you having supplies and certain stuff not being delivered, or you don't have a correct like chain and supply of people doing what they need to do. Getting out masks, getting out ventilators, getting out hospital beds, facilities, you know, especially a whole lot of people dying, and then like cemeteries in New York, there's not too many cemeteries and certain stuff like that. People in New York, even when I was there, is what you call it, people buried on top of people. That been going on for a hot minute. There's nothing that people can really realistically see. Not really. You could be doing certain stuff. I know, like, I think the most craziest thing that happened before a lot of stuff, before things really started to get bad, um, I probably got time for a couple more, probably like 4 more, and I'm getting off for sure. But my whole thoughts with the coronavirus is that, sure, I'm trying to implement a lot of stuff, but a whole lot of stuff we just don't know. From a standpoint of like supply and distribution, I guess transportation or method of transportation is that cross contamination, really, if you think about it. I would say sometimes the way people are handling money is really nasty too. Money is dirty. Another crazy thing that happened, I think, right before I saw a few things happen. Well, not a few things happen, but like the coronavirus, for instance, there was somebody like in my area who, what you call it, person came from like Seattle or something like that. They went to one of these nursing homes. They didn't know they had the coronavirus, and then they was just happened to be in my area. Well, I wasn't nowhere near them, but like the general area where I live at. And they sat down and had a whole meal, everything. They shut that place down. But they had like hazmat people out there. They sanitized that old thing. This was before all the shutdowns and stuff happened. I never ate at that place. It wasn't anything that serious. But people kept on, serving food and certain stuff like that. And a lot of stuff that I guess people have been doing is just not really been implemented. Like for instance, restaurants like Chipotle and certain stuff like that. A lot of stuff they're doing doesn't make any sense. Like, you go for a takeout order, pick your stuff up. They're sitting up here telling you to stand at the back of the restaurant, and other people are standing, and then the guidelines say, you know, no more than 10 something people, and there's like, you know, they're not even following it. They're trying to tell people to, you know, go back so they're not overwhelmed, not have people at the counter, and people still doing it. It's kind of nasty. Well, in fact, it is nasty, but give or take, it's just kind of pandemonium. I put it at that. April 30th, nah, this ain't gonna last a couple months. For sure, it's gonna last a couple months. Maybe to September. I'm gonna have a whole lot of hair on my head by the time I get a haircut. Well, I'm gonna line myself up. What do I have? It's a corner specialist. One another aspect I didn't understand is like when what you call it, that diamond, what you call it, the diamond, that cruise ship in Japan. That makes sense because a whole lot of people on that thing. I know they tried to isolate the people, but having those people in direct contact with the people who had the coronavirus, they gave them SIM cards and certain stuff like that. But they had them people out there interacting and mingling with those people who had the coronavirus and being on there on that ship, and had the workers, you know, not wearing PPE or taking the, you know, the precautionary measures and certain stuff like that. And then the workers themselves died, and some of the people on the actual ship died from the coronavirus. I think that was a little bit ridiculous. That was just stupid. I would say about certain stuff happening, I would see that, you know, data and stuff like that. They have programs and certain stuff, you know, to estimate certain stuff to type in. Some of this data can be skewed a certain way, some of this data can't be. Uh, it tries to like analyze cases, and then medical records are one thing. Know a whole lot of places and certain stuff like that are, you know, trying to find a cure for the coronavirus. But I feel like a whole lot of time is going to pass, though. I'm about to complete, well, yeah, this is my junior year. I said, I'm about to be a senior. A little bit tired. I said, doggone junior. The start of my junior year was alright. It was alright. Now it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of iffy. Let me see if I got anything from my professor. I think one of my professors is stuck in Mexico, so I don't understand why we even go to Mexico, but yeah. Let me check my blackboard. Another thing that I never understood, especially businesses and certain stuff we're doing, is April 7th. I didn't even realize he even had that course content. I have to do his work. I was surprised that my professor actually, I think he's back in the States. So, doesn't make any sense, but I'm pretty sure I might have an A. I have an A right now, so gotta do that homework tomorrow. Oh, I need to upgrade Deadeye and what you call it. I'm gonna update Catch and Shoot next. It's my next badge. Do I think stretches are good? I don't know. If someone asked me that, I was having a whole conversation with one of my friends talking about whether I think stretches are good. I think stretches are good. It just depends. Everything is in a meta phase, I think. You gotta get range extender like silver or gold something. I know. This junk. That's reaching. Why does that have to be a break though? Hachimura. Come on. Isaiah Thomas got waived. So I know this is from 2019 when I made this stretch. That was not really a goaltend, but okay. Yeah, I know I was starting to mess down. You know, I was catch and shoot. That was actually catch and shoot. That was too deep. Someone asked me to work on badges at a certain time frame. I will. Like, somebody might ask why so many bronze, or should I just split it up? True. I'm gonna get catch and shoot on silver, and I'll work on Deadeye. Deadeye and a couple more badges. So that's the concern. Corner specialist is gonna be left on silver. Range extender, Hall of Fame. Clutch shooter, Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be points where I might get catch and shoot, and this has to be clutch. Green machine for sure, Hall of Fame. How? I'm gonna have to do one of these assignments for biology tomorrow, for sure. Type it. A lot of the school stuff, I don't like it. Online. School was one thing to physically be in the classroom, but we can't do that no more. Because it's a dub. COVID-19. Give me the ball. Thank you. I'm about to green. How? I know that's a foul on me. Defensive badges, it's kind of boo boo. Give me that. Give me that shit. He's gonna back up. Green. Either hand is an upper hand. Suck a bucket hand. Future took the business and brand and for me. Future took the business and ran for me. We'll go ahead and set a screen. I just have to keep gunning. To get badges, I just gotta keep gunning. How? Personal foul. Alright. Davis Bertans. Okay. Of course he fouled me. That's a big ass push. It's the worst free throw base ever. Wow, Bradley Beal wide open in the corner. Imagine not passing the ball. And then did a shot creator. Step back. I'm a 98. Should be a 98 on my paint defender, but this is like the build I'm gonna use, the stretch. But if I need a paint defender, I'll still have it. I still love my paint defender, but I don't know. My paint defender can shoot, but I wish it had the sharpshooting takeover. But my paint defender is probably like the best shooting and like I have post scoring. I have post scoring takeover, so. I need to go to sleep. Probably got like one more game left in me, y'all. One more. perimeter lockdown. He was wide open in the corner. Ish Smith. This guy should back up. And of course, that doesn't make any sense. That little animation where that shit is like follow through. Normally it's the green, but you. $2K next year it's a back double takeover. But make it work how like 2K19 used to work. Except balance the shots. Come on, bro. I knew it was gonna sub me out. That made no fucking sense. Yeah. Ooh. It's not backing up. That should have went in, but it didn't. That's the fucked up part about it. Uh, that shouldn't be no turnover. That was bullshit. How do you grab onto the ball? Oh, what the fuck? No ass got sounds of BC. That's fucking tough. That ain't my fault. That's not an offensive breakdown on me. How is that a violation on me? It's some dumbass shit, bro. Let me get off this shit. Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 na. This bad stuff don't make that much sense, but here we go. Free throws fucking ass, bro. Kevin Durant got the best free throw. Yeah, this shit ass. I'm not gonna bother with the last drill. Just fuck it. This is probably gonna be one of my last games, cause I mean, alright, I'm back. I'm gonna talk to y'all about what I think about hospitals right now. I know hospitals, they are likely to be sued during this time. I hate to even think about insurance companies, what they're doing, because think about it, coronavirus is a pandemic. If someone had life insurance for like, $3 million, and you have multiple people who are doing that, not doing that, had that type of insurance, that money is eventually going to dry up, I feel like. And a lot of stuff they can test. One time, I talked to an insurance agent about certain stuff about whole life and term insurance, certain stuff like that. Term is good for a certain period of time, but whole life is always a better way to go. So, a lot of people ask about what is like what you call life insurance. Life insurance, when people die, it's like money. Like if I was like someone, like a particular, like a family member makes like $50,000 a year, You know, you have accidental death insurance, stuff like that. Where it's like if you have $50,000, like you make $50,000 a year, that's matched. And what you call it? If you had a policy where it's 50,000, you know, you got a period over like 20 years, that'd be $1 million. So your family would get like $1 million, and they get your burial, that type of stuff like that. You get a headstone, all that type of stuff. You have arrangements and certain stuff like that. You know, wills and stuff like that. So it's like that. But I know another thing with the medical industry too. So people talk about the medicine and certain stuff like that. So $1 billion corporation, which it is, and people are talking about, is that problematic? No, I don't think it's problematic because you know, we need medicine and stuff like that. Should medicine be cheaper? Sure, it should be. But I think a lot of stuff's not gonna happen like the way you think it's gonna happen. Like let's say a certain medication or certain stuff like people need. Like for instance, like let's see, like someone goes to a dermatologist, and you know, sometimes insurance doesn't cover certain stuff like that, like a skin issue or something like that. You know, a lot of stuff might have to come out of people's pocket. For instance, like someone goes into a place and like they got a prescription and something that's $800, the insurance won't cover it because it's $800 or something like that. But have I seen that happen? Absolutely. I would have pulled that, but nah. Mortal Kombat. Someone asked my opinion of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 11 is just lazy. It's pure laziness. Like a couple of the moves, like Shang Tsung's Warlock, like variation. That's just literally what you call it, Shinnok's move preset from MKX. Just ported. Like that move where it gets the eruption. That's just Shinnok's move. That's kind of lazy. The fact that I almost made that shows Stretch Biggs taking over from the 99s to the 2000s. Alright, come on, bub. Got to run up this, what you call it, this shooting bars. I'll probably have all my shooting badges in like a couple days. I got to do that work. Taking too many classes. Taking like 7 classes. How? That was gonna leave a sign. I was right there. That's green. I should go up by a lot. Grinding a big is so bad. How? How would somebody just strip the fucking ball? This game's fucking ass. Give me that shit. Bobby. Hell no. That's green. I ain't spent no money on this character. I just use my coins from playing park on my stuff like that. Like I might have a coin guy. Like what I mean by coin guy is I might use one character if I feel like I messed up on a build or I don't like playing a build. I have builds for every occasion. Speaking of coronavirus and jobs and certain stuff like that, my thing is certain people when they say that like a college degree is not important, especially if you're a minority. Yeah, I feel like you're gonna have to get that college degree. It's always important to get that college degree, bro. But there's another thing I don't think people understand my career. It's like there's a lot of aspects of what people are doing. Not what people are doing, but like companies. They do know a lot of people get mad talking about, these people not loyal to jobs. Young people, millennials and stuff like that, not loyal to jobs. Well, companies and stuff are not loyal to you. That's pretty honest. That's what I have to say. Companies and stuff are not loyal to people. That people are talking about. Some people stay at jobs like 3 years or less, rather than staying there for like 15 or 20. Pensions and stuff are not happening anymore. When people used to work 20, 30, 40 years with a company, nobody's doing that. I don't suggest anybody do that. Because these people are not getting any type of bonus pay, stuff like that. And there's some people, like old people, I feel like certain people just cross the line. They just break the norms, in my opinion. Talking about young people, but, no offense. You're busting, like, I know they probably getting a check for something like that. They're probably retirees and certain stuff, but they be trying to be too smart, stuff like that. I'm grown too. I don't ask you for help, stuff like that. I don't. If I get something, it's off my own merit, I remember, like, there's a lot of stuff, especially like in school, uh, a teacher says something stupid, talking about, I'm looking for a handout. Oh, no. Well, I can tell you that's your assumption about black people looking for handouts. Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong, fam. Not looking for handouts. Not gonna be given to me at all. My mom told me that early on. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing, bruh. So, let me go ahead and pull from D, coach. How? Reaching, bitch. How are you hedging and then reaching? That doesn't make any sense. How the slapping the ball out of people's hands is bullshit. It's bullshit. And look, reaching, and then hedging. Come on, give me the ball, bro. Give me the ball. And pull up from deep. Could be 80. NCAA tournament stuff is done. I know a whole lot of sponsorships and stuff fell through. Companies and certain stuff are not making money, so there's one thing to think about. Like, get off this shit, man. Probably play one more, getting all bros. But stay safe out there. What time is it? If it's close to 3, like if it's not like 2:20 by now, it is 2:20. Yeah, I'll probably get off now. It'll probably be better for me. I'll do the what you call it, the actual thing where I'm actually doing the team practice, but I'm about to get off. The 82 and 82. That was so easy of a steal. Give me the ball, bro. How is that my... This game is bullshit. It's not my fucking turnover, bro. Look at Curry, man. Why'd they take me out with like 40 seconds left? I might play one more, but after that, that's it. I can even sim out, ask out, sim with VC. That's the bull. Come on. If that wasn't a foul. And that was, bruh. That was a backcourt violation, bruh. That's on God. That's green. God damn. Hall of Fame brick machine. Roxanne, Roxanne. Roxanne, Roxanne. I'm gonna put one more for y'all. Nobody get the oh, cause yeah, nigga, bro. Ever since I've been at home, like spring break, since I've been back, I just have not wanted, like, bro. My sleep schedule has been ass. Not one of the latest spring breaks, school wise. That was green. So scripted. Why'd I shoot 75%? Come on. $79 green window. Uh, uh, uh. One more game. Oh, Kyle. Booze. Man, be checking on the booze, man. That's stupid. Why? Okay. Who is 24 to me? He's not 15. I don't even have Intimidator. Bruh. I'm getting off after this shit, bro. Cause your boy needs to go to sleep. Just catch and shoot. Wow, I just lost my takeover. Like that. That shit's ass. Yeah, that was catch and shoot though. You gotta put a shot up to take it, and then just gotta go get volume shooter. It's my next badge. I need to get volume shooter, silver, or something. And I shoot greens. Yeah. Ooh. That was trash. For sure. Jokic. You can have that. That boy don't play about the bag. Gotta move smarter, gotta move harder. I got the pink slip on my wrist. Pulling on the coupe at the lot, 24 12 for SWAT. Missing the bells at the box, I just leave with the box. Notice here, how I get lazy. I got the mojo deal, trapping like the A's. So, got a cash out. Pipe a Nicky, no, say side side. I got back that. And I really wanna know we might shoot it. I got the pink slip on my lips. How? Should have passed that up. I know that play all day long. I'm about to go sleep. Yeah. He did all that. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. How the fuck did I miss that one? Oh my god. That'll be the perfect time to sub me out. Should have backed up. And that was a damn foul. I don't give a fuck. No, I ran out of space. I would have pulled that. Mr. Murray. Oh my god. That jump's stupid. Why would you record yourself having sex with your girlfriend and have it on your phone, knowing that people's phones and iClouds and stuff get hacked? I never understand why people do that. I never understand why people do that. Ha ha ha. The problem finding and overflocking. I take my chance in traffic. Hmm. Checked. Uh. How the fuck? Yeah, this shot's kind of ass. Not gonna lie. It's good, but it's ass at the same time. Hell no. I died during time. Mm-hmm. Got him. It's like catch and shoot. How? Just gonna shoot that shit. Give me that. Sleeps every time because I'm a bad get higher than a friend. You and me.